I'm doing a midweek review of some of the analysis that I did on Sunday and Monday. I didn't get a chance to record it this week, but yeah, I'm just doing a midweek review now to look at some of the trades that played out throughout the week, or how the market moved throughout the week in comparison to what I projected. So the first one that I'm looking at is GBPUSD. I tried out Fibonacci. I don't really use Fibonacci all like that, but it is really good at spotting key levels for support and resistance, or where price likely stops and reverses or continues. So I did notice that when I placed it on my chart for GBPUSD. Did notice that. But zooming in here to the day, I have GBPUSD on the daily right now. Earlier this week, so the week started off on the 13th. And what I thought price would do, because I think that when I zoomed out, price is at a point where it reaches up at this high and it was rejected in the past. So I kind of projected that same kind of thing, even though it's already been doing that since the 1st of September. It's already been doing that. So since I do feel like this downtrend will continue, what I thought after the strong bearish movement from last week was that price would push up, maybe to this, what is this, 1.3015 level, and then continue pushing downward. So I see that we're already on Thursday, the 17th, and it is starting to create a bearish candle for today. Now, whether it's going to continue to push up to this level or not, I don't know, but I do have a strong feeling that it's going to push down to this 1.26, like 80 level down here. I do strongly feel that between the end of this week to maybe this time next week, I feel like it'll make it down to this point. So that's it for GBPUSD. I think that the downtrend is going to continue. So moving on to EURUSD. EURUSD, I had it in this area of consolidation. Now, mind you, it's on the daily. I draw my consolidation boxes on the hourly. So I had price either breaking up or breaking to the downside. Now, what price did was, when we zoom in, you can see that it did have some bullish momentum up to this point, but the overall candle for even on the 15th was bearish, and it continued with bearish movement throughout this week. So I projected that price would go down sooner than it actually did, but it did still go up and then come down. And it looks like it's still respecting around this area. I don't know if you can see you can see my pointer on the lab. Yeah, it does look like it's respecting around this level down here. Like even on today, you can see that it's creating this wick. Now, we still have several hours left in the day, but it already created this wick down here, where it has created a wick in the past at this level. So that's it for EURUSD. I think from this point, it does seem, it's like bouncing around between this area. I don't know if you can see that. Ever since it shot up, it's been bouncing. It's been bouncing up and down between this area, so consolidating. So from here, I do think that, well, actually, to be honest, I'm not quite sure what it's going to do once it breaks out of this consolidation. Let me zoom out some and see if there's a bit more. Yeah, so I think it could either dip down to like 1.1558, where it has dipped down to in the past once it was around this level when it came down, or it could continue pushing upward, because we do see, like back in 2018 when it had these highs of 1.24 at that level. So yeah, I'm really just waiting to see what EURUSD is going to do. But for the rest of this week, I think it'll continue bouncing around between 1.19 1.1900 and 1.1750, like between those two levels. And that's what I feel like it's going to continue to do. But moving on to GBPJPY. I haven't looked at GBPJPY this week, but it does look like it broke out of this trend. So it may have some bearish movement down to where I already had this box created, where it was a supply zone. So I marked this up on Sunday, and I can still see that GBPJPY is still consolidating. Like even throughout this week, it's still consolidating. And again, I'm on the daily, but you can still see that it's consolidating. So I might extend where I have this consolidation box. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna extend where I have this consolidation box, because it's still bouncing up and down. Yep, so that's GBPJPY. And like, I completely understand why it's still consolidating. It did have some strong bearish movement between the end of last week and the beginning of September. So it makes sense that it's consolidating now. Moving on to USD/SWIZY. So I did have this area of consolidation blocked off. Well, actually, let me back up to the daily. So on the daily, what I really should have as my consolidation area is this entire area right here, because USD Swiss franc is consolidating. I think it's gonna continue pushing up for the rest of this week, up to where it has pushed up to in the past, which is around this where candles have closed on the daily at 0.9177. It's currently at 0.9123. So that's a good 50 or so pips that I think it will have between tomorrow and Friday. Like, it'll more than likely go up, come back down, unless it breaks out of this consolidation area. So I guess we'll see. I'm gonna draw a line right there right now, just so I know what I expected the movement to do. Yeah, so I'm expecting it to reach up to here. All right, moving on to USDCAD. Now USDCAD is consolidating where it has consolidated before. I'm waiting to see, for USDCAD, it's in a downtrend, right? So what I'm waiting for is for it to break out of this consolidation area and push to the downside. And you can see I have it marked up for when I expected it to, and it still hasn't pushed down to those levels yet. The level I have it marked at for where I think it's gonna push down to is where it's pushed down to in closed candlesticks before, which is at the 1.3040 level, and it's currently at 1.3229. So that's USDCAD. is currently, it just now pushed off of a resistance level. So I think what I'm gonna do after I get off this live is analyze it and see if see when a good time would be to enter a sell, just for let me see how many pips this would be from the resistance down to the support if it doesn't break out. Okay, so that would be a good 70 pips. Yeah. Once I close this live, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna see what a good entry would be for USDCAD for selling, if it does sell. It just broke out of consolidate, like this smaller scale level of consolidation to the upside. So yeah, I'm gonna have my eye on that one because I don't want to miss when that one does make a move. On to NZDJPY, Kiwi Jappy. I've been holding this one for, since last week, since the 10th. And it hasn't really moved much. I did have 2 entries open for it, but I did close one of them because I feel like it hasn't really made its big movement yet, and I was kind of waiting for its big movement. But it has made, let's see how many pips this is so far, because I can't open my MC4 while on live. So 70 pips. Yeah, like from my entry, I have 70 pips so far. What I'm waiting for it to do is sell down for another. I'm waiting for like another 140 pips on this one, to be honest. So we will see. This one is I would consider this one a swing trade. I definitely would consider this one a swing trade. When I analyze this, because I don't normally look at New Zealand JPY, but when I analyzed it, I did look at it on the daily and looked at what levels it was at, and it only made sense that it would push down to this level. So that is what I'm waiting for NZDJPY. Now on to Swiss JPY. Wait, did I accidentally call USD Swiss franc Swiss JPY? If I accidentally called USD Swiss franc Swiss JPY, I meant to say USD Swiss franc. But anyways, moving on to actual Swiss JPY. So since May, it's been pushing up to this key level of resistance. Once it's reached this level of resistance, it's breaking out of this trend. So what I think it's going to do over the next month and a half, I think it's going to keep continuing to push down to the downside. So I think there are going to be a lot of sell opportunities, or I'm going to be looking for sell opportunities when it comes to Swiss JPY. And it's currently making those lower lows and lower highs. So yeah, those are the opportunities I'm going to be looking for with that one. These are more pairs than I normally look at. Ever since the market was correcting last week with my pairs, I had explored a few other pairs and marked those up as well. And even practicing marking up new pairs that I hadn't really looked at too often. So this is the result of that, and they're pretty much doing what I thought that they were going to do. Oh, and then on top of that, just looking really quick again at Swiss JPY, this is kind of a head and shoulders right here. You see one shoulder, head, shoulder. So normally with the head and shoulder pattern, that is a reversal pattern. So this is on the daily. So yeah, I do think that it's going to continue to push to the downside after it's been making this bullish run since May. And this one's like, hesitant to call it a flag, but this is AUD Swiss franc. I don't really plan on trading this again. There were some pairs that I just marked up just because. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not looking at gold this week. Sorry for my voice. My throat is a bit dry. I don't know why. Maybe because it's nighttime. But yeah, I haven't been looking at gold this week. I have been scalping NOS 100. You can see NOS 100 has broken out of its trend as well. And then US30, of course, doing the same thing. And what I thought US30 was going to do was have a bit of bullish movement up to a level of resistance that it had, come down to a level of support, and then continue going back up. But what it looks like it's doing is it's at a level of support that it's held in the past. So like you can see right here, support, resistance over there. So yeah, that's a level that US30 kind of respects. You could even see it when I zoom out into like 2019. At this level, it does tend to respect it as one of its key levels for support or resistance. But that's pretty much it. Let me look at the dollar real quick. Yeah, the dollar has been I feel like it's looking kind of weird. I thought that it would continue downward. It's kind of staggering off. Consolidated. But yeah. And this week there's been a lot of fundamental news. So using Forex Factory to look at fundamental news, there have been a lot of red folders for the pairs that I trade that have USD in them. So it's honestly been an okay week. But I like that I had already had the fact that this is why I like doing a weekly analysis. And I do my weekly analysis live to kind of hold myself accountable. But this is why I like doing a weekly analysis. When I feel like taking a step away from the charts, or just anything, when I come back to the charts and see my predictions play out or about to play out and waiting for me to enter them, it's like the perfect timing. That's why I like having a weekly analysis. It's like setting up my trades for the week based on what I had predicted. So it's like I pop in, look at my charts, see if it's at a level where I'm ready to sell or buy. If it's not, I step back away from the charts. So if you don't already do a weekly analysis, I would strongly recommend it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the week. Like I said, this was a midweek analysis or a review. I'll call it a review since I had already done my analysis between Sunday and Monday, preparing myself for the charts for the week. I just didn't record it or get on live and do it like with anybody. So that is it. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna close out now.